So these right here are my Israel Adesanya versus Imavov UFC Fight Night Saudi Arabia full card predictions. But just before we get into predicting the fights, what the fuck is this?
Bruh.
So I've clicked on the UFC's website to try and get information on UFC Saudi Arabia to get all the bout lists up. And I get this right here. Power Slap 11, The Crazy Hawaiian versus Dumpling 2. Legends collide.
Huh?
What is this shit? Why is this on the front cover of the UFC's website? But anyway, let's move on to predicting UFC Fight Night Saudi Arabia. Starting off with the main event, we have got Israel Adesanya versus Nassourdine Imavov. Now, this right here is make or break for Israel Adesanya in my opinion, because this guy isn't getting any younger in age. He is currently 35 years of age, I believe, and hasn't had the best run of form recently in the UFC. However, has been in there with a lot of elite guys, let's be honest. And if Israel Adesanya is to lose this one, in my opinion, if he doesn't retire, he's essentially the gatekeeper of the UFC middleweight division, in my opinion. Imavov, he is on a 2-fight win streak at the minute with wins over Brendan Allen and Jared Cannonier. Starting off with Israel Adesanya, obviously coming off that loss to Dricus du Plessis for the title.
I manifested this.
Obviously, not good to be coming off a loss, but arguably one of Israel Adesanya's best recent performance, if we're being honest. Israel Adesanya did look a bit more bulky going into that matchup. It did seem like he did fade a bit quicker than what he normally done, but in my opinion, before he got finished by Dricus du Plessis, I had Adesanya winning that matchup. I thought he was just doing what he normally does, which is just kind of outstriking his opponents. As we all know, Israel Adesanya's game is kickboxing. He is a very elite striker, one of the best in the UFC. Even still today, at 35 years of age, Israel Adesanya is one of the best all-round strikers in MMA. But this right here is going to be a difficult matchup for him. Nassourdine Imavov, he is very well-rounded. What you need to remember about this guy as well is he is an undercover Dagestani. That is right. Imavov, I think, was born there and then grew up in France. But this guy can do it all. He's got good striking and he can grapple as well. And I feel like that's why a lot of people are picking Imavov in this matchup, is because of his grappling threat. Now, personally, I think a lot of people are overestimating Imavov's grappling ability and underestimating Israel Adesanya's takedown defense. Now, when Israel Adesanya is taken down to the mat, his jiu-jitsu shit, his get-ups aren't great, but getting Israel Adesanya down, especially against the cage, is really, really hard, and we've seen a lot of people struggle to get him down there. Although when Israel Adesanya is initially taken down, he does do the right things if he is near the cage and building a base and trying to work back up to his feet. But Nassourdine Imavov, that is something he is going to have to utilise if he is looking to beat Israel Adesanya. The blueprint to beat Adesanya is kind of there. I mean, there's been different styles that have beaten Israel Adesanya, but when Adesanya is on the back foot, and not leading the dance, he tends not to do as well. Now, obviously, Adesanya does have some really good counters. Looking at his Robert Whittaker finish in their first fight, he countered Robert Whittaker beautifully, caught him, hurt him in there. But what I mean by that is Sean Strickland was just constantly in Adesanya's face, giving him different looks, because Imavov is a better boxer than what Israel Adesanya is, in my opinion. And you pair that with the takedown threat, I feel like he could cause Israel Adesanya a lot of difficulties in there, because Sean Strickland didn't have the takedown threat. He just had the threat of his boxing and staying in close range with Israel Adesanya and not giving him a chance to separate and stay at range where Israel Adesanya does his best work. Now, Imavov is also a decent enough striker, does do some good work on the outside, but I don't think he's going to be able to stand and go tit for tat with Israel Adesanya in this matchup. If he is looking to strike, it is to set up his grappling, in my opinion. That's where he is going to be most effective. I think Israel Adesanya is going to take this one. A lot of people are picking Nassourdine Imavov. The guy is on a 2-fight win streak, but if you look at his last 2 fights, Jared Cannonier, he was losing and he got an early stoppage. That fight shouldn't have been stopped. Don't get me wrong, he did hurt Jared Cannonier in there, but again, it was an early stoppage, let's be honest. Then if you look at his most recent fight against Brendan Allen was a great win to get. The guy was on an 8-fight win streak when Imavov beat him. But let's not pretend that Imavov looked really good in that matchup. He lost the first round clearly by being taken down and controlled by Brendan Allen, which in fairness he's not going to have to worry about with Israel Adesanya. But as the fight went on, his cardio was ass in that fight, like real poo. that was a real sloppy fight in there, and Brendan Allen is nowhere near the striker that Israel Adesanya is. I feel like Imavov is going to slow down in this matchup. I think he's going to struggle to get Israel Adesanya down because I feel like he won't have that much success taking Adesanya down in the open. I feel like he's going to look to try and set up by pinning him against the cage while using his boxing to shoot in at the legs and try and take him down with maybe most likely a double is what Imavov is going to look to go for, in my opinion, to try and get Israel Adesanya down. I think he is going to really struggle with that. We've seen Israel Adesanya bring in the likes of Robert Whittaker, and all his training footage seems to be like Shark Tank rounds where people are constantly shooting on him, and Israel Adesanya is constantly trying to defend the takedowns. So I feel like Adesanya is really prepared for this matchup. I think he's fought tougher competition than Imavov overall his entire combat sports career. I feel like Israel Adesanya knows this big moment. It's not going to phase him in there. Not saying it's going to phase Imavov, but Adesanya is used to these 5-round moments. The big star, the big main event. The event is essentially all around Israel Adesanya. Does he have it? Does he not anymore? I think he's going to have a good job at keeping the range with Imavov, going to the legs with the low kicks, the body, and then coming up high the odd time. I think we're going to see a very vicious Israel Adesanya in there this time. I think he is going to look to go for the kill in there against Imavov, and I think he will be successful. I think Imavov slows down, and I think we see a kind of stoppage from Israel Adesanya like we've seen in his debut against Wilkinson, where he has Imavov against the cage and he is just unloading on him, shots to the body, and Imavov is just gassed, covering up, and Israel Adesanya will eventually get the finish over Nasruddin Imavov in the late stages of the third round, in my opinion. Moving on, we've got the co-main event. We have got Sharabullet Magomedov versus Michael Venom Page. This right here is a really weird matchup because MVP has said that this is his only fight in the middleweight division and that he is not looking to stay in this division. He's actually going to move back down to the welterweight division after this. Obviously, Shara Magomedov has just recently got ranked in the middleweight division at rank number 14. I don't know how he's got that rank. And MVP is ranked, I believe, 15th in the UFC's welterweight division, obviously coming off a loss to Ian Gary. Ian Gary exposed a really big hole in MVP's game, and that was his grappling in that matchup. Ian Gary used his fight IQ in there. Very boring matchup, don't get me wrong, but at the end of the day, the aim of the game is to win as many fights as possible and get the belt, and that is what Ian Gary done. He used his IQ in that matchup, but we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the Parrot versus MVP. Look, Sharabullet's overrated in my opinion.
Bruh.
I don't understand the hype. He does have some really good kickboxing. His grappling's ass, but again, I don't think that's going to be exposed in this matchup. The guy isn't very big for the middleweight division either, so I don't see MVP being oversized in this matchup by Sharon Magomedov, and Sharon Magomedov doesn't have really crazy punch power in his hands. MVP does. This is going to be a striking matchup that's going to go one of two ways. It's either going to be extremely boring, like a point fight where Sharabullet will win by a very controversial decision, or it's going to be a really one-sided fun fight from MVP where Sharabullet Magomedov cannot time MVP, and MVP's blitzes and his trips and his sweeps are really going to have a lot of success in there against Sharabullet. But like I said, Sharabullet, I think he can cause MVP problems with his leg kicks, the way he flicks them out. I think that is something that you have to do against MVP, is kick low at the legs. We've seen Douglas Lima have a lot of success doing that, and it just throws off MVP's rhythm, which is what you need to do. You cannot let MVP get into this rhythm. That is where he has so much success in there, and that's where a lot of guys do tend to struggle with him, when he is in that flow state. And look, can I be honest? This guy's fucking blind in one eye. Like, surely when MVP's doing all his dancing and blitzing in, like, MVP's going to land at will on this guy. Like, is that not something to factor in? I think MVP's going to beat him by decision, although I do sense a robbery on the cards, but I am going to go with MVP decision. Moving on to the feature fight of the card, we have got one of the most overrated fighters on the roster right now, Sergey Pavlovich versus Jairzinho Rozenstruik. This right here, Jairzinho is currently, I can't remember what win streak he's on, but he's coming off 2 big wins in his career anyway, over Tai Tuivasa and the GOAT, which is on this card, Shamil Gassiev. Look, Jairzinho is a good kickboxer in my opinion. I don't think he is like top 5 level in the UFC's heavyweight division. I'm just being honest. The guy does have good kickboxing though. has really utilised his jab really well in his last couple of matchups. That's not going to work in this matchup though. Like the reach, as you can see right there, 84 inches in reach for Sergey Pavlovich, 78 for Jairzinho. It's not going to work. He's going to struggle to get his jab off in there against Pavlovich. And Pavlovich is going to be coming out very spiteful in this matchup, in my opinion. I feel like this is going to be fun while it lasts. I am predicting Sergey Pavlovich will KO Jairzinho, and this is how I'm predicting it. So they're just throwing. Pavlovich comes in, uppercut, left hook, bang, drops Jairzinho. Jairzinho goes down, couple of ground and pound shots. I don't think he's going to knock him out cold, but that is how I predict the fight ending. Jairzinho, bit shorter than what Pavlovich is. Is he really 6'2"? I'm unsure, but yeah, I see Pavlovich hitting him with a back uppercut, left hook, cracking Jairzinho, putting him down, and I think he stops him in the very first round. And I think people are going to go on that Pavlovich is like the white Ngannou again. Moving on, we have got probably what I'm looking forward to seeing Adesanya back, to be honest. But this, and the co-main event, but this right here, Vinicius Oliveira, this guy, everyone remembers him from that crazy knockout against Sapaj where he hit him with that flying knee. Arguably the best knockout of the year. He's going up against Said Nurmagomedov. Now this guy right here I know he has that name, but he's a fraud. He doesn't train those guys. I don't even know if he's related. Maybe he's from the other side of the cliff. I'm not too sure. But you see this name and you think grappler. The guy can grapple, don't get me wrong, but he is predominantly a striker. Now, a lot of people are expecting Said Nurmagomedov to get the win here. He can grapple, don't get me wrong. The guy does have submissions, and Vinicius Oliveira did struggle with Sapaj when he was being taken down at will, very frequent in that matchup, although Sapaj took that fight on short notice, so Oliveira wasn't really training for that style. I think this is going to be a fun fight, to be honest. I think Vinicius Oliveira is going to need a stoppage to win this matchup. To be honest, I don't think he's going to get it on the scorecard, just because I feel like it has the possibility of being really, really close. But like Israel Adesanya said,
I manifested this.
Vinicius Oliveira is fun. I like his striking. I didn't think he was going to beat Ricky Simone. He did. I am going to have to back him because I feel like he has beaten the better level of opposition than Said Nurmagomedov, when really he's only beat like one really good fighter in my opinion, which is Ricky Simone. Said Nurmagomedov, obviously, he is coming off a win, but the fight before that he did lose to Jonathan Martinez. I think Vinicius Oliveira, he has got the momentum, he has got the backing of the people. I think we're going to see a very close performance, but I think Vinicius Oliveira is going to stop him. That's my prediction. Moving on, we have got Fresiam versus Mike Davis. Look, Mike Davis, this guy has like got so much lore. This guy could have been champion if he wanted to. That might be a bit far, but I'm pretty sure he won the trials at Tiger Muay Thai. The guy isn't active at all. I think he last fought March 2024, so coming up to a year. Fresiam is coming off that really impressive knockout over Matt Frivola. But I'm going to be honest, I think Mike Davis just mixes it up better, in my opinion. The guy's got good striking, good grappling, and I think he is going to utilise his grappling in this matchup to beat Ziam by decision. That's my prediction for this matchup. Going on to the prelims, let's just go through some of these quickly. Muhammad Naimov is going to win this one. There he is. Fucking fat boy. We have got Shamil Gaziev making his return. Bro, the beer belly on both of these guys, but what do you, boy?
But what the hell?
Shamil Gaziev, I know it's like, you know what I need to know? What mouthguard is Shamil Gaziev using? Because if he's got that big fucked off red mouthguard, I don't know if I'm going to pick him to win this matchup. But Thomas Peterson, just look at him. He's got the mummy milkers on him. Come on, Shamil Gaziev, even though he is a blow-up, the guy actually is pretty skilled. Shamil Gaziev is going to win this matchup by first round finish. Moving on, Terence McKinney versus... Why do I keep burping? Damir Hadzovic. This guy right here is the one who got submitted by Moicano and then cried about it because he wanted to continue to fight, even though he just been submitted by Moicano. But Terence McKinney, this guy is there to be finished. I'm expecting Terence McKinney to win this matchup. Both guys' resumes are ass. 15-7, 14-7. I think Terence McKinney is going to get the job done here. I feel like the UFC are kind of laying him up here with this matchup. Moving on, Jasmine Judavicius versus Mayra Bueno Silva. Shout out to Kinder Bueno. Bueno Silva has fought better competition in my opinion. Obviously moving down a division, I believe she was up at Bantamweight, obviously fought for the title against Raquel Pennington in one of the worst fights of all time.
Bruh.
I'm going to go Bueno Silva. I'm going to go Kinder Bueno by decision. Yeah. And moving on to the last two fights, we have got Bogdan Grad versus Lucas Alexander. I'm going for Bogdan Grad to get a pretty impressive KO here. I think this is his UFC debut also. And then going on to this matchup right here, Hamdi Abdel Wahab. I'm shit with names. This guy right here against Jamal Pogues. Hamdi's getting the job done here. The guy's 5-0. He's a known cheat in the world of MMA. This guy has been on PEDs before. He's getting the job done. He's from Egypt, close enough to Saudi Arabia. He's getting the job done. So yeah, that is my UFC Fight Night Saudi Arabia predictions. Let me know your opinions in the comments below. Is Israel Adesanya going to manifest this and leave Imavov frozen on ice? You can let me know in the comments below. And as always, like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And I will see you again in the next one.